All right. Make yourself comfortable. You may find that you wish to lie down. That is perfectly fine for any of these sessions. Some of you like to sit, some of you like to stand. And if you're prompted to tune into your body and feel your feet on the ground, in whatever position you're in, just notice that your body is up against a surface of some kind. It doesn't need to be exact. I always recommend too that if you go off into your mind a little bit, which happens, just bring yourself back by doing a little bit of breathing. Okay, so let's start with closing eyes, and we'll begin with the hard breath. And during this time, I always tap into the healers. They're here today and they're not alone, so we'll see who has arrived. And focus on your natural breathing, which just means breathe and see what's going on in your body. You may find that you have tension somewhere. Maybe it's tension you've had for a long time, like an old injury. Maybe you're not feeling well. That's okay too. Whatever you're feeling, just notice it. Notice any thoughts that arise, any sensations. And we will begin with the heart breath. For this breath, you breathe in through energy center 6 and 5 to 4. You expand the energy center of 4 wide. When you release and exhale, the energy will release from the front of the heart energy center, circling around the arms to the back, rising up the spine to energy center 8, and the process begins again. So if you have not already started, please do so now. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release from front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release from front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 3. Release from front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 3. Release from front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 3. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4 and 3 at the same time. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4 and 3 at the same time. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4 and 3 at the same time. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 5, 4, and 3 at the same time. Release front to back and up to 8. Please resume your natural breathing and scan your body. And we have a message for Jennifer today. Jennifer, you are on the precipice of great change in your life. You are about to move into a whole new relationship to your body. At this time, the hope that you have had and the fears that you have had will join together and collaborate. That means that the fears that you have experienced over your condition will begin to alleviate over the course of the next 30 to 60 days. In this process, make sure that the hope is what you are focused on, that the wellness is what you are focused on, and that the connection mm, in between the third and second, the third and the first energy centers. So, with emphasis on making sure that the openness you are now experiencing in your third energy center expands to 2 and 1 as well. The information, the communication within these lower energy centers is activating at this time. And it is important that as you breathe into 3, you expand that energy center wide with as much light and brightness of the sun outside your door as you possibly can. So at times you may find you wish to be outside in the sun, actually breathing the energy of the beautiful sunlight into your third energy center. You may pull this from the top of your head into 3, or you may pull the energy with the in breath directly from the sun into 3, expanding that energy center wide. It is not 100% necessary to be outside for this practice. You may do so in the comfort of your own home. You may do it anywhere at any time with your intention. Your eyes don't need to be closed, however, you may find it easier to visualize the expansion of the third energy center with the light of the sun if you have them closed. When you expand that energy center wide, you may also breathe that energy down, then into 2 and 1, allowing the 3 energy centers to expand wide with the light of the sun. In doing so, you will also find that when you circle that energy from the front of the energy centers to the back, very much like we just did in the breath practice a moment ago, Allow that energy to enter into the back of the energy centers and rise up the spine to 8. This process and the emphasis and focus you have on illuminating the central nervous system from behind, from 1 all the way up your spine to 8, will begin to reconnect the information highway of your nervous system. That is an important part of this practice. Please do this every day, a minimum of 3 to 8 times per day, for approximately 3 minutes or more per cycle. It is not necessary to make it hard for yourself. Simply recognize in the moment when you feel called to do this breath practice that you are mindful to do it for a minimum of 3 minutes. If you do not feel called to do it during the day more than 3 times, that is fine. More is not always better. It is the quality of the sensation in your body and how you feel about the practice that is most important for the effects to be the most potent. This practice, we know, is being released to all of you in this call. For any of you who have illness related to the body of any kind, this practice will be useful. Notice that the collaborative effort you have with your son is coming into play. Many of you already understand the importance of the collaborative nature of the sun with the plants on your planet, and how vital it is to the survival of your species. Now you begin to see that you are part of the collaboration. The sun is here for the effect of positive change and growth and healing and well-being in the human body as well, and not just the human animal, but all animals on your planet. The more you, in effect, fall in love with this process of the collaborative work you are doing with your son, the more gratitude you have for the process, and maybe being thankful for it always being there, yet not knowing about it because you are only learning today, will begin to bring forth more joy and more beauty within the sunlight that you experience. Keep in mind for each of you, the sun's greatest way of communicating with you is through your skin. On your planet, a narrative has emerged to do with the sun may be damaging and being harmful to the skin. There is some interest for us in understanding how this story came into being. Simply be mindful of that story as part of your experience and that it is, in some ways, your truth at this time. Allowing that to change is okay. And allowing yourself to view the sun as a loving companion in the experience you are having in the human form is something that you could try on as well. Know that if you need to do whatever the story is for your relationship between the sun and your skin, continue to do so. It is wise to understand that the stories and the beliefs that you have around anything on your planet may still be operational and real for you, and that you will need to abide by some of the information that comes with that story. Perhaps it is called sunscreen. And if that is the case, continue to do so until the relationship to that experience or the story shifts enough where you feel a different relationship to your skin and the sun. We hope this is clear and understandable. Return to the recording if you have any questions. So, in a nutshell, keep it simple. Do the breath practice in conjunction with your sun. We will call this the sun breath practice. And know that you may need to put the the lotions, the things on your skin, if it is right for you in the moment. So be mindful of both things, the practice and protecting yourself and we caution you with the word protection. Instead, know that it is just part of the story and the relationship to use those items on your skin if necessary. Jennifer, we thank you for opening the doorway to this discussion and to being here and part of this group with your lovely open heart and your desire for wholeness and wellness in this lifetime in the body that you have chosen to inhabit today. We are ready for your next question, please.
This question is from Natalie Duffy. When my daughter was nearly 2, she experienced 3 febrile seizures, 1 at home and 2 in the hospital. She recently turned 3 and hasn't had one since. Can you help me understand the energetic or spiritual significance of this experience? Was there a deeper purpose or lesson in it for her, for me, or for our connection? I'm looking for clarity and any support you can offer to help me care for my sweet girl in the most aligned and loving way. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie, for your question. And first, we would like to offer our love to you and your child. The human nervous system is electrical in its nature of communicating information from the brain to the body. Your nervous system is what you would call highly complex, what we would call highly interesting. It is not unusual in the universe. Many beings throughout the universe have an information highway between what you would call a brain and the rest of the body the being has. Know that when children are born of a specific star seed or certain star seed origins, this nervous system of the human nature is somewhat different from the information that they maybe are coming in with that is encoded in their unique DNA structure. And as the infant grows into a toddler and then into a young child, the body will aim to calibrate to the information of their own specific DNA sequence. And when this happens, sometimes the body, as maybe happens to some of you in your meditations, will begin to shake or shudder. It is simply the nervous system attempting to recalibrate to new information, creating highways and opening doorways, opening windows, allowing the body to connect to the calibration of the brain in accordance to the new DNA sequence. Natalie, for your child specifically, her starseed origin is unique from the DNA lineage she has received from both her mother and her father, and in addition, her spiritual lineage that is entwined in the DNA sequence. Her starseed origin information activated, and the nervous system got a little bit of a jolt. And that means that the calibration was coming through so that her purpose in this lifetime can be fulfilled. One thing that is so heartening for you to know is that the only reason her star seed information chose to activate and calibrate within the human experience is because of her relationship to you. She has, in this lifetime, selected a parent who is capable of guiding her on the delicate path that she will have of unfolding. Imagine that she is a beautiful and delicate flower in this lifetime. She is what you might call in the human form a delicate flower that requires a certain type of care. So perhaps you know of flowers that are so beautiful and so delicate that only certain humans can keep them alive, meaning the flowers. And they become specialists in this area of keeping certain types of flowers alive because their sensitivity to understanding what the individual flowers require is so in tune with the flower itself that they are the ones to create entire gardens of these flowers. So, Natalie, you are a gardener in a sense, and your little girl is one of these unique and delicate flowers that is emerging in her purpose in this world for assisting others with communication and connection to what you would call other dimensional experiences. The childhood for children of this kind, and so many of you on this call have children of this kind. The parents who are assisting these children are also in the process of awakening. So there is simultaneously so many things going on in the human realm for you and for your children. Do not fret. This is simply how it is in your world right now. A colossal amount of change and shift in awareness is happening on your planet. And you are the steward, as a parent, of these young beings who are coming forth. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to know everything. All you need to do is simply sink into your heart, feel into what is a sensory perception of an opening, greater love, greater coherence, greater connection in every moment, and then you will know what is correct or right to do with both yourselves and your children. This beautiful unfolding process is a collective garden. So, for many of you who are parents of children, and it does not matter if your children are young or if they are grown, you are a community garden in this space of collective unfolding and understanding of how to interact with your children in every moment that allows them to blossom and to bloom in the moment and within the bigger picture of what is happening on your planet. So now that you also know the sun practice, the sun breath practice, this can be part of your expansion in this garden. So for those of you who are parents, reach out to each other, assist and love each other. Understand that you may be vastly different in the choices you make with your children. The important thing is that in this community garden, there is love and acceptance and tolerance for differences and tolerances for connections. Allow yourselves the beauty of coming into conversations about not only the challenges of parenting but sharing ideas for how you have done things. Ask questions with an open heart. Allow other people in your community to either say, I sincerely have no idea, but I'm open to a discussion about how we may come up with a solution or a possibility for what to do in this situation. You may also hear the other individuals in the group say to you, this is what I have done in the past. And in doing so, I had these results. And at this point in the experience, I had to pivot in order to adjust to the evolution of myself and my child, and or my child. So you can see that in a way, you are becoming a support system for one another. Our one last recommendation is to practice with soft entries with the ways that you communicate. Enter with an understanding statement. Enter with an acknowledgement statement. I hear you saying you need assistance with ADHD and the way your child is expressing itself through the lens of ADHD. Let's look at this together. Soft entry is a way of communicating that allows the other person to be receptive in a way where your voice will be heard. The same is true for 5D communication, should you choose to uh, come together as parents and use meditation as a solution as well. Know that we will communicate through a type of soft entry, which means that it could be a subtle and distant notion of an answer rather than a more direct, reverberating sound of a voice in your head. Either is possible. This is going to be a wonderful journey for you, Natalie. There is nothing that is wrong with your child. Your child is simply a beautiful spirit, a beautiful human, and a beautiful starseed, all coming together for the purpose of a wonderful future that you will have together. Your next question, please.
Next question is from David Flowers. Dear Blue Healers, you come from other dimensions to help us, to heal us, to teach us in spite of all of our shortfalls. Why?
Thank you, David, for your question. We would like to turn the question back to you, and of course, there's no need for you to answer out loud. Why is it that you do the job that you do? Why is it that you engage in the conversations that you have with other individuals? Why is it that you have specific interests that maybe others do not have? You are simply leaning into the beautiful experience of being who you are in the moment. The same is true for us. Our purpose in this universe, meaning our kind, the blue healers as you call us, we are many and we are numerous throughout the universe, and there are many iterations of our kind that may not all look the same to you. The one quality that we have is that we are blue in nature on the visual spectrum of humanity, meaning that for humans who can see us, in any of our many forms, we will always be blue. This information maybe is not as important as what you're asking. We simply come and do what we do because it is who we are. We are beings of and our purpose is to assist others in the healing practice. And the healing practice, the way you see it, is much more of a narrow focus than what our capacity is within the universe. So, for our group, our kind, from the place that we have come from, and we are not as many as the humans on the earth, we are maybe as many as you have in one particular city on your planet. We are that many in nature, and our role is to come specifically to humans on your earth in order to assist with what you call the healing practice. Some of you may call it an evolution of the human species as a whole, and that is possibly true. And we have seen that to be part of what we do. We assist with humans with healing their minds, their bodies, their lineages, and their disconnect from their starseed origins. In doing so, we, as we will remind you, do collaborative work with other species in the universe. For us, this is a beautiful expression of who we are. And for each of you, as you develop the visual capacity to see us, you will notice that when we are in what you would call a state of joy, we will glow more brightly to the point of losing the the form that you see us in, which you may view as being humanoid, and we will become pure blue light. We thank you, David, for this question, and know that since you have asked this question, the evolution of who we are and what we have to offer in your world will begin to expand within each of the people in this call. You will better understand our role within you now that we have spoken a little bit about it. We are ready for your next question.
Next question is from Alina. Dear Blue Healers, what are the most important things that I could teach my kids? How can I better support their journey? Thank you.
Hello, Alina, and welcome to this call. Welcome to this experience of unfolding as a parent. As we have said earlier, the parent is simply a guide for the children when they are in their younger years. You may also prove to be a guide for your children until you are elderly. In this role as a guide, know that your children come to this world with their own purpose. And the more you as a parent can nurture and assist them in the unfolding process of who they are and what they are here to do, the easier life will be for both of you. At this time, it is important for all of you as parents to understand that maybe the education system as it exists right now is not always the best support system for the beings who are coming through and the purpose they have in this world for assisting others with the unfolding of and the connection to the heart and coherence within the human body. These young starseed emergent beings sometimes may find that the distractions of the traditional education system may be greater than their ability to remain connected to and remember what they have come here for. This does not necessarily mean that you need to take your children out of a school system and figure out something else. For some of you, that is certainly true, and only you can know what the answer is in terms of how to educate your children. Instead, please understand that the education system may simply have shortcomings for which you will need to supplement the education of your child at home. May need to be mindful of how much information your child is exposed to in the form of your media delivered information, television, social media, etc. It is important for the parent, if you wish to assist your child in the best ways possible, to understand when your child is experiencing information overload, or maybe the information is going in and activating imprints from something in the biological DNA imprint that is not necessarily as favorable as would be with other information. There is no wrong way to do it. And in being parents, the most important thing for you is to understand that the more you relax into being who you are, the more you step into your own purpose and live in a way that is freeing up the heart space, expanding the heart, living in greater coherence, or allowing the least amount of friction in your life to be the truth for you, you will find that the parenting experience is that much easier, and you will know the right ways to be in relationship with your child. In many ways, parenting is a balance of great effort where you have to be constantly focused and attentive to the experience you're having as a parent. And then there is the process of surrendering into knowing that the being in front of you has a passion and a purpose for which they are attempting to unfold in the most beautiful way. There is no wrong way of parenting. Simply understand that you can pivot at any time when you recognize that your awareness of the past was not as effective or as great as the awareness you have now. Once you become more aware of yourself in your expanded nature, as it is different from the past, then you are certainly becoming more accountable for how you interact with your child and others. This beautiful experience of parenting is something that many of your kind have stepped away from. So many humans are opting out of the parenting experience because there is much tension and turmoil on your planet that creates so much friction that the idea of having children becomes daunting. This is something we find very interesting. It will have beautiful results, and it will change the way humans relate to procreation. It will also change in the distant future for you, not so distant for us, the way procreation happens at all. Lean into and love the parenting experience. Lean into and love knowing that you are the captain of a very small ship that is your household, and that you are assisting your children in the journey of their lives to becoming the great and wonderful, open hearted, and connected beings that they will become. The generation that is being born today is vastly different from generations of the past, and your guidance is going to be a pivotal point for the collective of the younger beings on your planet, beneath the age of 9 on your planet, because they will change your world in such a profound way, and it will be in an unexpected fashion. It will be through love, open heartedness, and beauty, and the tension, friction, and disconnect of the past will rapidly recede into a distant memory. We are ready for your next question.
Next question is from Vince. What is the primary purpose of time as it relates to human evolution in the linear 3D world, since time does not exist in the 5D? Thus, does healing ourselves through positive intention and breathwork in the present moment also simultaneously heal our past and future lives, given the immortal nature of our soul? Thank you.
The short answer, Vince, is yes. The work that you do here with us and in your own practice through breath and meditation puts you into a state of timelessness. You are correct. Time is a narrative in the human form, and in other places in the universe, time also exists. It is a narrative, a story within which you all choose to exist. When you are in your meditation or a breath practice and you are in timelessness, what you consider to be a timeline that has a past and a future, hinged in the middle by the present, the healing happens in timelessness, which means not only does the timeline heal, past, present, future, but also the many dimensions that also, in fact, do not exist, but give you a framework within which you can have some sort of understanding in the human world, the human brain. In in fact, if you were to imagine that you are the center of the story that you call the Big Bang Theory, that when you heal within that tiny origin of yourself, it explodes out into the reaches of the entire universe, beginning with you. While that sounds like a very dramatic way of explaining it, it is a simple story in your world for which you can understand that you each are the center of the universe. You each are in the process of doing something you call healing. And in the process of your healing, you are impacting every single thing around you, every being, every part of your world, and every part of the expansive universe within which you live. This is quite wonderful and profound for you to know because you are assisting everyone in the process of assisting yourself. So continue to work with that healing process. Continue to know that the vibrational frequencies of your human body, the vibrational frequencies of the stories within which you live, will draw you back into the human experience. And you may not feel wholly and completely healed immediately, or maybe you will. Either way is okay. Continually remind yourself that you are the origin of this universe. You are the origin of your own personal universe, and that each time you return to the nothingness of the quantum field in efforts to connect with nothing, you will find that the vibrational frequency of whatever it is you're experiencing in the 3D world will begin to calm down in its vibrational wave to where it becomes a straight line, if you want to describe it that way. We see it differently. And in that, the vibrational change, meaning the wave of the vibrational frequency of illness, becomes flatter and flatter. You will find that illness is more of a distant memory, and that wellness is the operational vibrational frequency of who you are. So, in that way, healing happens little by little and all at once. As far as discussing the topic of time, we are very amused by time in your world. We find it so interesting, in fact, that we are collecting more information throughout the universe about time in general. Because we do not live in time the ways that you describe it, we know that it makes it very hard for your brains to compute or understand what it possibly could be that we live in and how we exist if there is no time. If you are a person who believes that time is the operational experience of all things, and now you are having a little bit of a wave of curiosity around what it might be like to live without time as your story, you will find that it will begin to change. Know that it may upend your experiences you are having in your 3D world, whereby things visually will shift and change, or maybe you will feel that your feet are no longer on the ground. This is a normal experience to have if you are beginning to evaluate your relationship with time and what it might be like to be free from the experience of time. Know that time and gravity on your planet are connected, very intimately connected to one another. So gravity will begin to shift as you begin to shift your relationship with time, and vice versa. Your next question, please.
Next question is from Rasheen. They express a lot of gratitude for all of your answers and asks for themselves, what is the purpose of my life? And I have that same question. Thank you.
Hello, Rasheen, and thank you for your question. We appreciate when humans come to the place where they now want to know, what is the purpose of my life? When you are born as humans, you are told what the purpose of your life will be. You will eat at these times. You will do this at these times. You will be educated with this information, and this knowledge will then turn into this job that you will have, and these relationships that you will have, and these children that you will raise. And at the end of your life, you will feel fulfilled only if you have completed these tasks as they were explained to you along the way. This storyline that you create is so fun and interesting. It is so exciting and unpredictable if you allow it to be that way. For those of you in this space and in this room, your purpose is to begin to tear away those pages and throw them into the fire of transformation, to allow yourself to use the pages that feel useful to you, that feel fun and exciting to you. For most of you, that is your 3D appearance and the 3D body that you have. You will need to use that to your advantage for experiencing whatever it is you believe You will choose to believe your purposes in this world. Get rid of the rest of the information. That past and those details limit you from having the most wonderfully expansive experience in the body that you have created for the joy of being human right now. We see that many of your kind struggle. The struggle is simply that the story of your past, the pages in your book that don't serve you, are stuck. They're stuck wherever they are in your story. And you may try to rip them out only to find that somehow the book is indestructible. You are trapped in this story. You are trapped in the discomfort and the friction of whatever it is that you chose to believe along the way. Now, for those of you who are overachievers and you're frantically ripping pages out of your book to get rid of them to try to create something new, our suggestion is this: stop doing that. It is less effective to attempt to throw away everything than it is to be stuck in and ride the wave of the story that you maybe are feeling is not that great. There is a point in the middle in this human life where you are right now, and understand it's very different for children. And as a parent, and we'll come back to this in a moment, as a parent, you are holding your child's storybook. So, keeping that in mind and coming back to it, Rasheen, your narrative that you are creating for your life is about looking to the places where there is more light, more love, and more expansion. You have a story of your history that comes from your lineage that is extremely limiting. And this is true for most of you in this call. So when we are answering one person's question, know that we are likely talking to you as well. Whoever you are wondering if this question and this answer is not about you. Yes, it's about you too. So, Rasheen, you ask what your purpose is, and likely what you are wanting to know is for us to give you the information of the specifics. You will live here. You will work doing this. You will help this many people. You will have this life, this family, this experience, these things. Instead, we will do a more general response. While we may, in this moment, see what your purpose is, it may be not of the greatest benefit for us to tell you, because the storybook that you hold of your own life has many pages that will tell you how to sabotage that truth of who you are and who you are becoming in your purpose. And you will feel greatly satisfied in sabotaging your own life and your own world. This is not because you are doing something wrong. It is simply because your storybook, the pages in your story, are so concrete in what they are, the story, a story, one possible story of your life, uh, that your vibrational frequency will remove anything that is not in alignment with that old story. Your purpose here is to assist others with expanding within their hearts, growing within their minds, connecting and making contact with the unseen world. That is your purpose. You can do this in any profession. To begin with, you could be a librarian, you could be someone who works in a daycare center, someone who does therapy, someone who collects trash, someone who does whatever it is the job is that you have. You could also be a person who has no job, who is at home for whatever reason. Perhaps it is an illness. You can still assist others. And if your question is how, we addressed this a little earlier in the conversation. Every time you choose to step into greater coherence in your heart, your mind, and your belly connected, every time you choose to step outside of the 3D reality and get into the quantum field, you are exploding this energetic frequency out into your universe. There is no wrong way to do it. Simply look within when you are breathing and say to yourself, I know I have great purpose, and I know it is part of the experience within this storybook that I hold in my hands. In the nothingness of the quantum field, I ask that the pages that no longer serve me, the vibrational frequencies that no longer align with coherence, be effortlessly removed and float away and dissolve into the quantum field of nothingness. In another way, you can also do this through the spiral breath practice, where you breathe in from 8 to 1, and so on and so forth, until in the final round you are breathing from 9 to 0 and 0 to 9 in the efforts to allow the quantum energy field to come through from 9 to 0, meaning through your nervous system in the space that we described many times, and allowing the nothingness of the quantum field to extend into your nervous system and out to every cell in your body. The more you do this practice of expanding your heart, coming into coherence, allowing yourself to be in the nothingness, the more things will fall away that mm, no longer align with this purpose that you are seeking to bring forth. Rushing, in addition to this, we see that you will work with people in a healing capacity. So there you go. There's a start. We do not have more specifics than that, but we do see that you are working with people in a healing capacity that will allow them to be free from physical physical ailments specifically. In doing so, you will work in a location, at least temporarily, where there's snow. It'll be cold, and you will make such deep connections within your heart that you will assist organizations in changing the way they do things. For the person who asked the question and said, "This is your question as well," you have a future in assisting others in connecting through sound. And in the sound that you create, it will allow people to transcend the effects of gravity on your planet. If you are here, anyone is here in search of your purpose can be found where there is the most lightness in your body and the most connection between your heart, your brain, and your belly, which means that, as we have described before, in every moment you are making choices for the things that bring expansion in your heart. A simple practice, as we have said, is to go into a coffee shop or a restaurant, look at the menu, read everything, and choose the one thing that makes your heart feel like it is expanding. It may be illogical, but it will give you an idea of how to do this in every moment with every experience that you have. For parents, this is the same thing you will need to do with your children. You are holding their storybook for at least a short time, and many of the pages are blank. You are actually writing in their book by being who you are in the parenting experience. You have so many wonderful things to offer your children. So begin to understand that parts of you will be written into this book that will be part of your children's story that they will live by in their future. In doing this, recognize that some of your flaws will be in there as well, and that is okay. There is not the need for perfection on your planet. It is about coming into alignment and coherence with the decisions that you make in every moment. So, as a parent, you may find that There are details that go into this storybook for your child that you are holding that you don't want them to have. It is not necessarily for you to make that choice. It is simply for you to hold the book, allow yourself to be in coherence as much as possible. That will allow your child to also be in a state of coherence as frequently as you are. Their heart is tapped into your heart. So just keep that in mind as you are guiding them along the way. There is no way for a parent to remove pages of a book they are holding for their child. They are simply they are simply a place for this book to be in safety, love, and protection. So enjoy the process of assisting your child and beginning to write the original story of the life they will lead. But the goal is for each of you to eventually no longer need a storybook of any kind. One day, each of you will, when you are mm, completely in alignment, you will toss the entire book away into the void, and the pages will write themselves line by line in every moment, because you will be drawing from the quantum field in every moment of your day. That advanced practice is and going to be available to many of you within a short period of time. Enjoy the process of unfolding in your story until you no longer need one at all. Your next question, please.
We are at the top of the hour, but there is a follow-up question in the chat. Shall I proceed?
Yes, please proceed with the follow-up question.
Ursula says, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I've been a longtime believer in timelessness. I didn't know of the connection to gravity until this call. I have noticed over the last 7 years that I get stressed when driving on freeways because I started to fear that gravity might no longer exist. How can I heal from this fear when driving? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Ursula. We love to discuss gravity and have done so in many of our calls with you. The truth is that the fear you have of driving is something that comes from a trauma from the past and has very little to do with gravity itself. These pieces of information are separate, however, you have connected them together in your mind. So we will attempt to uh, create an answer that uses both topics in order for you to understand. First and foremost, explore and examine the possibility that the trauma of your past is no longer needed in the story of your experience of the present and going into your future. Our first suggestion is slow down. Take your time while you're driving and go back to the basics of the experience. Are you moving safely down the road in a way that is safe not only for you, but other drivers? Is your attention split between what you are doing in the driving experience and perhaps what's going on in the car? It may be a helpful thing for you to put your cell phone in the back seat where you cannot reach it at all. Create a way for you to have zero distractions in the car while you are driving. For you, you have an increased sense of anxiety when you drive. There are some sounds, meaning music, vibrational frequencies that come through sound that could assist you with reducing anxiety as you drive. You may want to turn that type of sound on. And in doing so, practice with shorter drives rather than longer drives. Highways are inherently chaotic in your world. And for those of you who have more deeper connection to coherence, your level of sensitivity for the chaos of driving on a highway, particularly at a busy time of the day, will create a dissonance within you that could decrease the coherence that you once felt in your body prior to getting into the car. So for you, This could be a fun game that you play, where you now are saying to yourself, I am good at maintaining coherence when I am doing these activities, whereas when I drive or do something else, you fall out of coherence because it simply is now time for you to practice coherence within the new context of understanding. So, Ursula, while you are driving, you may find that when you are stopped at a traffic light or a stop sign, you will take a moment to bring yourself into coherence once again, and you can laugh about it and say, wow, that was quick. I went only 30 seconds from one stop sign to the next, and I went into a complete state of anxiety between the two. So each time you bring yourself back into coherence in the experience you're having with driving, you will find that you will be able to go longer stretches of time and in more chaotic driving environments for longer periods of time. This is simply a process. However, understand that without addressing the trauma of the past and allowing yourself to be alleviated from that imprint in your storybook, this anxiety you feel will continue to be present. There is no way around it. You simply have to discover what triggered the response that created such a vibrant imprint in your energy field that you are at a heightened state of anxiety in the car when you are on the highway. So, we will now weave in the concept of gravity to the answer of this question as well. Gravity in your world is simply when two vibrational frequencies are similar, that it allows the two things vibrating at that frequency to pull together in familiarity. So for you, as we have said, there is much chaos on your highways, on your roads, because anxiety is so prevalent in your world in the human form and increases so rapidly in the human world at this time that now all of these anxious people are in their cars vibrating at an anxious frequency. And what's happening is the gravity between those vibrational frequencies pulls the cars closer together in this chaotic dance of the frequency of anxiety. Thus, you have traffic accidents in your world on a daily basis. And thus, you find many people either like or do not like being on the road. For people who are able to rise into a different vibrational frequency or shift into a different vibrational frequency from the collective chaos of anxiety on your roads, they may be the ones who love to drive and enjoy being out there and have no issues whatsoever with accidents or traffic tickets or experiences on the road. So for you, you want to release yourself from the gravity of this vibrational frequency so that you can, in essence, rise above in your car the experience of what's happening on the road. So it is the first step toward having cars that fly, which means that you are no longer within the narrative or the story of the anxiety and chaos of the road. So energetically, you and your car will be driving on a different level. So enjoy the process of the unfolding experience in this way, allowing yourself to explore the origin of the vibrational frequency of anxiety, and freedom will come to you. There is some attachment for you with the experience that you're having. Allow yourself to love that part of yourself that is attached to the anxiousness you feel while in your car. We feel so much love for you. We feel so much love for all of you. Our time is complete, and we would like to thank you all for being here. It is such a pleasure having these discussions with you, know that we are always here to answer your questions in open heartedness and love. If you wish to stay for a brief discussion following this channeling session, you may do so. All right. Thank you so much, all of you. What wonderful answers. It was a parenting session. This is fantastic. I've had so many questions about parenting. And for those of you who are parents, and I think that's a lot of us, enjoy the experience of adjusting yourself in the new way of being as a parent. How exciting. Everybody's asked about that in the past, so I'm grateful to hear their answers. And we'll just call this the parenting session. It was great. All right, I'm going to allow you all the ability to unmute in case you would like clarification on any of the topics. I'll see if I can actually assist in clarifying if clarification is there. All
Uh,
right.
I'm curious as to what was happening for you in that last answer. Was that sneezes or coughs?
Yeah, I was coughing. A lot of times, this energy center for me is affected when I'm giving answers. Um, yeah, it was really interesting because then I immediately went into hiccups.
Oh, that's what
So,
happened.
yeah, so I get an irritation when trying to speak the vibrational frequency of the information they're giving to me. So the blue healers communicate to me vibrationally. And so sometimes when we translate, they help assist in translating it into words. The energy center of the throat for me gets kind of tickly. So it had to do with Ursula's specific question of being on the road. And the tickle began when they were describing that there was some type of, what's the word they said? Oh, I can't remember the word they said. Some type of value for her in the anxiety portion itself. So it's kind of counterintuitive, the disconnect. They couldn't figure out a word to say for that. And I can't come up with one either, apparently. That's why they were struggling. So, Ursula, whatever that is that you're experiencing emotionally, if you are one of the meditators that have done the retreats that we all talk about, it's that point inside yourself where you have developed a deep familiarity with that anxious feeling to where it almost is feeling good. So I don't know if the word would be addiction to that chemical response. You can choose the words that work best for you, but that was kind of how it came across. And so when they couldn't find a way to say it in their gentle way, because that's how they communicate, then I started to cough. That's what happened there.
Got it. Thank you for that. It was very, very helpful. I don't know that I enjoy it necessarily, but because I've been dealing with this, it gives me a free path out of driving if I have a long distance to go with friends. So I usually just, grab a ride with other friends, and so I get sort of absolved of having to take on that responsibility, which is nice, right? But it is a strange thing. I used to be a very aggressive driver, and I love speed and had wanted to be a race car driver when I was in high school. And so it's a big shift for me. Um, and it feels like a trauma. I just don't know what the trauma was because I've never had, like a major accident, car accident or anything. But I have had a lot of work stress, and I had a very long commute to the office for over a decade, driving over 80 miles a day, mostly freeway. So I think it may have just been the work stress and not necessarily driving, but somehow it got connected to the freeway, I think. But I'll have to explore that. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, we as humans do that. We like to connect unrelated things together simply because the emotional, it's within the emotions. So, yeah. Great exploration. I think you also could look into the thing that popped into my mind is the lifetime where you were royalty and you were just simply escorted around and enjoyed the experience of having other drivers or other people, doing that.
That's funny you say that because it's true. I do prefer having a driver. And in fact, there was a time I just Ubered to the office every day, even though it was ridiculously expensive. And it's funny, I have had one psychic mention that I was a royal that people are not very fond of, but Marie Antoinette in a past life. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it's funny that you
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah, the narratives that we create and the stories that we have, it doesn't matter what they are. You can see it for whatever it is you're going to.
Yeah.
Like when channeling the blue healers, they will slot into my vocabulary, and it doesn't matter if everyone has the same story. That's always the funny thing is like, well, how could I have been Marie Antoinette and somebody else said the same thing? Well, it's just the words that you're choosing to create that story to allow you to understand and relate to something that is
Mm,
going on in this experience of being human. So
wow.
yeah, it's great. I love when people create their stories and then you can begin to unwind them.
Thank you. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Thank you for pointing that out too. Very, very helpful. I'm excited. Maybe I could finally tackle this and not have this hanging over my head.
Yeah, imagine yourself as a new driver and you're in a parking lot. Start there. That's where we all
Yeah,
started, right? Learning to drive in a parking lot somewhere
to-
or out in the
totally.
country, in a field, on a tractor.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Thank you. I
All right.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Ursula, I'm just curious. Um, at the moment that Jen was channeling the information for your question, were you also feeling a tickle in your throat or any kind of energy in your body? The reason I ask is oftentimes with my massage therapist, he, I release energy through burping for some reason, and sometimes he will actually take it on for me in the sessions. So I'm just wondering if something like that was also going on between you and Jan.
Oh, interesting. No, I wasn't coughing or hiccuping, but I was very feeling a lot of emotions at that point because I hadn't really thought about it as a trauma, but it feels like one. And so when they were describing that, I started tearing up. But I think it was also in part just like exhaustion with like having this hanging over my head. But I did feel like a lot of emotion. I thought maybe that was what was causing it, kind of like a reverberation of like a lot of emotion coming in related to the question.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, I want to thank you all for coming. It was such a pleasure seeing you. To do the signature heart, sending out love to everyone. Lots of aloha. Have an amazing day,
Thank
and I'll
you.
see
Thanks.
you again soon.
Bye.